Everybody, welcome back to episode 3 of the Sitdown. I am your host, Nothing But Car Reviews, aka Dark Chocolate Music, and then our co-host.
Right, 615.
Make sure you catch him on Twitch and Kick if you like streaming, especially Apex Legends. He's pretty good at that. He's trying to go pred this season, so let's wish him good luck. Make sure we watch a stream, get those numbers up. But on this episode of the Sitdown, we're going to talk about a little bit of trending news. So we're just going to get right into it. What about this UPS thing? You know what I mean?
Well, what's going on with UPS again? They're getting paid again?
Yeah, I think they got a. Well, everybody's been hearing about how they're getting paid like $200,000. The drivers are, but apparently they just solidified or I say ratified. The labor union did. It's like a 5-year, $30 billion labor contract. So they got substantial wage increases across the board. I've heard. I didn't read that. I get most of my news from Bloomberg Business Week, so that's what I've heard from them. But it's just crazy to think. I guess I would have to know what their pay was before, but I mean, kudos to them, man. Congratulations to all the UPS people out there getting money, whether you're shipping, driving, having to leave stuff at people's doorstep, all of that. Because, I mean, y'all about to be in for a nice Christmas bonus. So, didn't you used to work for UPS?
I did. I actually worked during seasonal time as well, and I did get that Christmas bonus. It's pretty good. It is a lot of work, though.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that Christmas can be a lot worse.
Yeah, and especially since they're having to pay more, they're probably going to be working a lot. I think they're going to try and work fewer people for more money. But the good thing is I feel like that kind of seeds out a lot of people who they might not consider to be as productive. But then you got to think everybody who's actually able to stay there is going to be overworked. And, you just have to be prepared for that mentally, physically. And unfortunately, I think that'll also cut away a lot of their family time just having to work as much as they're going to have to work for this money. But they were probably overworked to begin with anyway, so hopefully it's not too drastic where they can't handle it. And, they're getting a lot more money. So, again, congratulations to the UPS drivers. Y'all out there getting paid. Keep it up. But I really think this is just a big win for blue-collar people in general. I think this is going to be a trend, especially when it comes to hard labor. I know our dad works at Southwest, and, he's part of the labor union there. And they've been responsible for him getting several wage increases, and I feel like he told me recently they've slowed that down. But I think this UPS thing is really going to kind of keep people. I think the big corporations coming and making sure that the perks, the money, everything that's offered to the employees is good, because that's how you keep long-term employees. And that's just, history has said that you try and cheat your workers, they're gonna go work somewhere else. So again, just good job for UPS, letting this stuff go through, and hopefully everybody wins in the long term, the company and the workers, and then everybody can be happy, and we can just keep going on with life as usual. So, what's the next topic? Oh, this debt. So, I read also Bloomberg Business Week. Apparently, China is $9 trillion in debt, and they're trying to figure out a way to. I don't know if they're trying to limit it or if they're just like kind of in a slump right now. But we were talking about this earlier, and it kind of brings to the forefront how many countries, pretty much every country owes other countries money, but then those countries are also in debt. So you're thinking, like, where does this end? Like, is it just like a bunch of lines going to different countries? So like Russia owes the U.S. and then the U.S. owes China, but Russia owes China, or whatever. It's crazy to think about. But I mean, what do you think about this debt thing? You really think it's a big deal that China's $9 trillion in debt?
I don't, because I think all these countries are just stalling anyways until the end of times.
You think?
They're just trying to build up the debt. Honestly, I think it's just something to keep the average day American, just to keep them thinking. To them it probably is not even that big of a deal. What I mean? China's still building, more buildings than ever and different types of things. You know what I mean? And so, as long as they keep things peaceful between countries, I guess everything's all right.
Well, I guess they were talking about that. Reminded me of something else about how the countries were. Well, China in particular, I guess their industry or whatever, because of the COVID thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're like going towards a recession.
Mm.
And I don't know how that is. That's just what I've heard. Of course, they said the same about the U.S. I don't know if it had to do with housing prices or whatever. I know that's what's kind of fueling our inflation here.
Okay.
So I'm curious, and I've kind of seen just going around. I mean, I think all of our groceries are expensive, but I don't think anything has shot up, which has in turn shot up our inflation rate as much as the two big purchases, homes and vehicles. Now, I do think we're starting to see both of those settle out a little bit, but I think the big thing is I think that's what's going on in China as well. And as these bigger countries, these more, I guess, industrial countries are trying to limit their emissions and just limit their pollution on the earth, everybody's trying to go towards EVs, which are pretty much the most expensive thing you can buy, just pound for pound, compared to a similar gas powered vehicle.
Okay.
I'm wondering how that's going to affect us long term, just in terms of imports, in terms of what we're mining. Like, how is this going to affect the industry as a whole? And that's what I'm concerned about, because we've also seen EVs where people were paying 10 or 20 grand over sticker because stuff was new. And now that same vehicle is, that same buyer is flipped an extra 20 grand on top of the 15 or 20 they paid over sticker when the vehicle was out. And I think you're going to see a lot of people who are stuck with what they have, or they're going to be getting themselves in more and more debt. And I think that's another reason we're seeing a record level of credit card debt and just overall debt in general. Of course, inflation's driving that up too, but I think that's going to be something to watch, because the people who have money and who don't have debt, when all this stuff hits the fan, I think they're going to be in a lot better shape. But the majority of us are going to be out here real bad with all this debt that we've taken on through this whole COVID fiasco.
Mm-hmm.
But that's where I am with that. But what about this? I had to look up how to say it. Yevgeny Prigozhin, that guy who was like, I guess he was a rival of Putin. Um, that was crazy. Apparently, he just like died in a plane crash with 10 other people or 9 other people or something. And it's crazy how a lot of stuff happens in certain countries, and I think it's happened here as well. But just like all of a sudden, these people who are like seen as an enemy to the government, just all of a sudden getting these tragic accidents. So,
Yeah.
You think that was an inside job, or you think it's just coincidence?
Hey, man. It could have been an inside job. I always feel like I have a different conspiracy theory for all this different stuff. For the submarine, going down to the Titanic and floating and whatnot. And then I know you were speaking on this, before. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, anything like that, it's crazy how it even happens. How these people get in that position, and then something tragic happens, Kobe Bryant, that's another thing. The helicopter, no one can ever, figure out what really, really, really went down, you know what I mean? So, it's just another one of them things.
Yeah, I do think it's interesting as well, just going back to the whole, that situation in general with the Russians. I think it's just weird that, Putin's basically having this full-on war with Ukraine right now. And I don't know much about this this guy, rest in peace, whoever he was. I don't know what his say was on that whole Ukrainian incident, and I've heard that Putin's like in talks to try and get this resolved as soon as possible, because now Crimea is at stake, and it's looking like they might lose that. I just think it's very, very interesting that I think he actually came out and gave his condolences for the death. So I'm wondering if he's trying to unify Russia by doing that, or I just think it's interesting because he's been so busy, and as Americans, this could all just be part of a conspiracy as well. Where this is all we're hearing about is this kind of stuff. We haven't heard much about the war, I think, just here recently. Just like, alerts on my phone, people talking about it. We know the war's still going on, but we don't know exactly how the tide's turning. And I think it's interesting that this guy randomly, dies in a plane incident, and then it's like top tier news. Is it because they're trying to keep our eye off the bouncing ball, or was Putin trying to get us to see this stuff? We don't know. But again, hopefully this was just a freak accident, and if it was, our condolences to everybody that was on that flight because it's a scary way to go out, man.
Oh yeah.
I hate that. Scares me when I get on an airplane. It's just like not coming back, and So again, our condolences to Russia, the entire country. Hopefully they can get this thing with Ukraine resolved, and we can all get back to normal. But this is kind of part of this is life on the planet Earth. There's always stuff going on. Somebody's fighting. Somebody's got their button hovering over the nuclear codes, or their hand hovering over the nuclear codes, whatever.
Yeah.
So hopefully this gets resolved and everybody can just get a little bit more normalcy because COVID was enough as it was. But speaking of politics, what about I know you wanted to talk about Trump, so kind of tell me about what's going on with that whole trial situation.
Everyone's been waiting on the mugshot today. They announced yesterday that Trump was turning himself in, and they're going to drop the mugshot. I think as of what time is it? I think what was it 1:30 they started the court hearing. I think. And I know they allowed cameras inside there. The judge is allowing cameras inside there. So I guess we're just waiting right now at this point for video and pictures of President Trump turn himself in.
Okay. Because I think they just had the Republican presidential debate that first, I don't know if it was a town hall, but the first debate was in Milwaukee, I believe. So we kind of got to look at the candidates. Of course, I think DeSantis was a big favorite for the party. Who else was in it? I made a list. I know Nikki Haley's in it. Mike Pence.
Yes, sir.
Which is somebody I didn't expect to see there. So that's interesting. But, good for him. And then a few other people. Chris Christie's back. Tim Scott. And then a couple other people I'm not huge on. I haven't heard much about. But I'm wondering how this whole trial is going to make Trump look, but also how it's going to make the other candidates look. Because I think as Trump is going through this whole trial situation, I've seen a lot of people, especially in our area, that have just doubled down on, Trump being their candidate, thinking that he's going to beat this and that, all this entire just debacle that has to do with President Trump is all part of a bigger conspiracy of people not wanting him to run. The Republican Party in general, or in particular. So I'm wondering how that's going to affect the turnout for the conservatives. What do you think about that?
Yeah. If Trump beats all this, I feel like he gets back out there, he's gonna win it. And I just don't see Democrats coming with anything this time around. I feel like this country's gonna do it. They've been itching to do it, and I think they want him back in there. And it is what it is. I see a few snippets of the debate, the other night and what was going on, and just a few of the candidates and whatnot, and just looking up there, I just feel like if Trump was up there, it wouldn't been much of a discussion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, if he beats this and gets out of this little situation he's in right now, I feel like it's going to be Trump 2024.
Okay. Yeah. That's another thing I heard about, too, was a lot of people were getting excited about DeSantis, and apparently he didn't get much excitement from the debates last night. And I think that's what a lot of people... I think the Republican Party realizes this, but they don't want to address that. Trump is a very exciting candidate for the base. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't want to accept that. But, I mean, it's kind of like Biden, The only reason that Biden won last time is everybody else's disdain for Trump. Mm-hmm. And Biden was pretty much the liberals' last choice. So I think you have a good point there. I think it's just interesting how our country works. That would be we're just so polarized. I think that'd be an extremely unprecedented result of just, the past 8 years of having Trump lose the election to Biden and then Biden losing the re-election to Trump. Mm-hmm. And it's just like a back and forth thing. I think that would be very, very, I just think it'd be neat, honestly. I mean, say what you will about who you want to be the president, but that would be pretty neat to just see how any side can, pull a majority just based on voter turnout, how excited people get, and just about, what the issues are. And I think one thing that Biden has not addressed very well, specifically to blacks to women. It's a bunch of just talking points, really. And I think the student loan debt thing was a big reason that I was looking at him, and then for him to win and then not be able to get that done was kind of a letdown. And a lot of us, you want to talk about conspiracies, kind of getting off topic, but inflation's at the highest it's been. Home prices are still extremely high. Car prices are just extremely high because they're expensive now. And then you have so many people who are going to be able to get out of debt after being out of work, going through the whole the COVID aftermath, and then they're having to start paying back their loans when a lot of people are not only not ready, but all the extra money that they had from not making those payments is going towards interest on vehicles now, interest on houses now, just eggs being however much they are. So I think everything that we're doing to try and avoid a recession, you have two sides of the country, and I feel like per usual, those who are out here struggling and those who aren't out here with an abundance of wealth are going to be the ones hurting the most. And that's who the other half of the country depends on for stuff that they don't want to do, whether it's lawn care, whether it's fast food. Like, we're going to see all that stuff come back, I think, with the labor shortage. And that's just kind of what I'm seeing here, because it's not going to make sense to go to work unless these employers who have been raking in all this money even through COVID are able to pay their workers enough so that they can get by. And that's kind of where I am with that whole situation. I just think it's interesting that a lot of people are not seeing both sides of it. Per usual, just you're either for this and against this, or against this and for this, vice versa, instead of seeing kind of where both sides are coming from and how we can all kind of coexist where everybody can stay okay. So I think we're going to see that again. But, that's just my take on it. But finally, let's go over the blind side thing. Kind of explain to me, if you could, what's going on there.
From what information I've received, I heard that they've basically been cheating him since they adopted him, and then putting him into that system, the football system, and then making the whole movie about it, and then coming out and Michael Oher, being who he was, just coming out and saying how he didn't appreciate, certain things and whatnot. And so recently there's been this meme going around the internet about the blind side too, and it's Michael Oher sitting on the bench next to Sandra Bullock holding a folding chair, looking right at her, and they're saying it's gonna be the blind side too. So I like
Revenge of Michael Oher.
The Revenge of Michael Oher. Yeah.
Oh man. Well, I guess the story that has been going around is apparently Michael Oher was put into this conservatorship, and I haven't done too much digging, because basically you have two sides saying two different things, and we don't have all the facts yet. But apparently he was put into this conservatorship, and he's basically saying he has not received money, or at least enough money, from what the rest of the family has made from the Blind Side franchise. And then you have the writer of the book that eventually got adapted into this movie saying that wasn't the case. And then, of course, the family saying that wasn't the case at all. Was it the Tuohy? Is that how you say it? And then it's weird, man. It's just super, super weird to come out this late. And I know a lot of people are saying that he's been saying this since the movie came out, and it's just kind of getting play now for whatever reason. Regardless, I think you have to realize what position. It reminded me of that little Uzi Vert contract situation where he said he wasn't getting any money, or somebody said he wasn't getting what he should get out of his music contract. But to get to where he was, he had to sign the that kind of a deal. Now, obviously, once you have yourself established and you make enough money and you pay the label back, a lot of artists are doing this now where, you wipe your hands clean of that, and then you go to start your own thing and kind of start from there. But I mean, that's kind of what I think Michael Oher should do with that situation is, wipe your hands clean of the conservatorship if you can, get all of that out of the way, and then you can bring your side of the story to light with hopefully the money that you've been making from the NFL, if that wasn't tied to the conservatorship. I don't know the whole situation again. So that would be terrible if he was out here putting this work in and they were still getting paid off of his success. But now that I do think is wrong. But everything else, I mean, that's part of business. That's part of life, especially if someone is taking care of you and you are staying with them and they're kind of pushing you to be great. Again, I don't know the stipulations of the conservatorship, but I think that would make a lot more sense so that they aren't here going broke, making him a superstar, and then he kicks him to the curb, and then they have nothing left. Now, obviously, they don't seem like they were broke, but I get it. And if that's how you move, that's how you move. And I'm sorry for Michael Oher, but that's the way of the world, baby. But again, I hope this is not the case. I hope they did do everything to protect him and to honor him and to appreciate him. But if not, I wouldn't be surprised. And just hopefully he learns from this lesson and he can make a little bit more money the years he has left, and then, do something similar, make his own Blindside movie or whatever, and build his wealth the way that the Tuohys apparently have themselves. So that's kind of my whole take on that.
Hey, I second that.
So, got anything else you want to talk about today?
I believe we cleared it today, sir.
Okay, good. Well, thank y'all for watching. We're still getting the kinks worked out here with the whole podcast setup. But again, I'm Nothing But Car Reviews, aka Dark Talking Music. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you liked what you saw today. And if you did like what you saw today, we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks.